Hello, welcome to Quackalope. Thank you for being here. Today we're going to be showing off Tsuro, the Luxury Edition.
And this is insanely luxurious. They went over the top with this production quality.
Now, this is not a video or a product for the vast majority of you. In fact, if you're watching this, you sort of already know if this is designed for you. This is for the family, or the game group, or the individual who grew up playing and has loved Tsuro being a part of their just family game shelf for, you know, whatever your gaming career has been. This is a go-to classic, a game that has lived through the history books here in the industry, and one that I was first introduced to at Labyrinth Games and Puzzles when I was just walking into the hobby. One of the very first abstract games I ever came across, and having it here in a deluxified fashion, let's just say, is very nice. Let's go ahead and explore exactly what is inside of this box. First off, this is a prototype copy of Tsuro, the Luxury Edition, and this box, if some of you wood scholars might notice, is not 100% perfectly treated lumber. This is handmade, this is produced, this is getting ready for the manufacturing.
This is so pretty. Can I start showing stuff
You want to start pulling stuff off? Well, this is the little collector's card.
Yeah, so this is the certificate of authenticity, which I think just makes this so cool.
Which every copy will have.
It's got a little pocket, and it says the number. They're all going to be unique.
So, you have a silk-laid tile bag. You have all of your metal meeples and individual
Usually I
dragons.
go straight for the metal meeples, but I want to show them this.
So if you're interested in a rule book, this is going to be a rule book printed on a bamboo scroll. Now, the interesting thing, or the fascinating thing about Tsuro is it is a quick-playing, highly accessible game for anywhere from, I think, 2 to 8 different players. One of the nice things about Tsuro, as far as an abstract game goes, is that I actually think it gets better and better when you get to that mid-range of player count. You're talking 3 to 6 players on the table, because it's this puzzle game of abstract intersecting lines, which is one of the nicest elements of it. So, let's take a look at...
Look at these miniatures. They're all made out of a different type of metal, it looks like. Or cast, at least, in a different type of metal. And they're all different. Are these what the original ones look like? Are these the original designs?
So some of the original designs, yeah.
Nice. They are so pretty. And they look like they're all different variants of dragons.
Yeah, dragons, phoenixes, whatever you want to call them, but
creatures.
Iterations upon those winged fowl creatures, and all of these are going to be metal miniatures.
And they're chunky, like they
full on clink together. They have a little bit of a felt bottom to them.
Yeah, and they have weight.
And
the tiles.
You're going to have stone tiles, along with a cloth playmat. Like we said, about as deluxified as you can get with Tsuro. Now, Tsuro is not a complicated game, and those of you that are watching at this point, if you're not familiar with what it is, I'll give you a quick rundown of what you're doing here. The object of Tsuro is to lay a series of intersecting tiles with various lines on them. Those lines will create pathways for the dragons that are around the edge of the board, and those pathways always have to be followed. So if you start over here, you'd follow that line through to completion. Now, the object of the game is to lay tiles in a way that keeps your dragon from running off the edge of the board and makes all of your opponents either collide with each other or fall off the edge of the board. The interesting thing here is that at 3, 4, 5 players, you start getting all these different competing principles, and you'll end up with a whole series of pathways and lines where one person plays down a single tile, and you find yourself spinning down this spindly pathway, ending up at a point of reference that is either drastically different from where you intended to be, safe and secure with potentially another person controlling your next step of fate, or directly off the side of the board.
Yeah, it's crazy how with one move your outlook on the game dramatically changes.
Yeah, so for the people that love Tsuro, here's what I'll say about this copy. This is the type of game that you end up picking up and placing down on your table because you don't want to pull off the $10 copy of the game. I mean, they're not apologizing for what they're creating here, right? This is head over heels one of the nicest versions of a classic game I've came across. For me, this reminds me of having like a deluxified chess set sitting on a table that everyone is willing to pick up, start playing with, and looking at. I have an easier time of convincing people that games are fun and cool and that we should try them out for the 10 or 15 minutes it takes to play if I have something like this set up and displayed in my living room.
And this is not that complicated of a game to enter the hobby into. This is literally something that you can keep on your coffee table as a display piece and bringing out when you're having guests over for the first time and say, hey, this is kind of what we do, and show them an intro game, but that also has some depth.
It takes about 15 to 30 seconds to play, which, again, those of you that are watching, I'm sure, are already aware of that. But it's one of the neat things. My biggest argument in favor of picking this up, if you love Tsuro, is just that this will be a set collection piece, right? You'll set it down on the shelf, and like you said, it'll make it easier to get people to bring it off the shelf and onto the table. It'll be something that you're excited to display, excited to show off, and if you do anything like deluxify your games, this takes that to the next level. This is something that I would go and order off of Etsy if I was looking for like an opportunity to add inserts, to sleeve my cards, to create metal miniatures. This is just one of those type of games that I think deserves an upgrade like this. And like I said at the beginning of the video, it's not going to be right for the vast majority of people who've played Tsuro. But for the people that have a space in their game shelf that's been waiting to be filled by something deluxified like this, I think it makes sense.
I think this is going to sit really nicely on your grandfather's gaming coffee table that has a chess set and a mahjong, and then my grandmother's mahjong set.
Yeah.
I think that's the location where it is. Like, I have a mahjong set from my grandmother that is sentimental to me. This is along that lines of something to pass along that is going to create a lot of memories.
No, you hold on to it, you have great times with it, it doesn't get dinged, damaged, or destroyed, and at the end of the day, it's something that just becomes like an heirloom board game piece. It goes right next to, like you said, the chess set, the mahjong set, crokinole board, any of those high-class items.
Super,
So, there you have it. That's the first showcasing and unboxing of Tsuro, the Luxury Edition. I think we're going to do a little head-to-head two-player game just to demonstrate how it works. She's a little bitter because I consistently beat her.
Abstract is my genre, not your genre. You don't play abstract.
I'm just overall better at most games.
On camera only.
We'll see.